so
Japanese
much.
noodle morning.
Ay, 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 ay.
Ay, ay, ay.
Big dislike. Oh, I found I had a good graphic for this, but I'm trying to find it now. Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is.
Well, don't forget to not remove yourself from the screen this time.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that last time. What's up, everybody? Thank you
What's
for
up?
dropping in the. Come on, you can do it. I believe in you. How's your week been going, Kristen?
Oh, it's been busy, but it's good. It's good. I'm crash landing in a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And then I feel a bit more caught up in my everything that I'm doing.
Ooh, that's a fantasy.
It is a fantasy, yes, but it's because I grinded a lot midweek so that I can crash on end of the week.
Been getting a lot of Tony Hawk in.
Yeah. Dirt hippie, you had me at with ikigai. Well, we're gonna disassemble everybody's ikigai because it's a lie.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We might, because sometimes we end up convincing ourselves that it's true. What's up, Gwen?
I know. But there's a whole mythology around the thing that I looked up.
Oh,
Which,
cool. That's helpful because I didn't do that much prep.
yeah.
All
Hello,
right,
Gwen. Hello,
let me grab
hello.
the
Good
URL and
morning.
make my post.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll just amplify your post.
I don't know whether people are seeing my posts.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess I
who
can use some
cares?
amplification in
Oh my
today's.
goodness. Oh my goodness. Buttons everywhere. But okay, so you're feeling on the ball this week. That's cool.
Yeah.
How's chat feeling? Fuck. Hold on. I spilled a bunch of stuff.
Oh, your first on-camera spill.
No, remember we had the whole big thing?
I don't remember the other one. Do you spill something?
Yeah, hold on.
All right. While Cameron's dealing with his liquid emergency, which surely is a good way to
It's
wake
in
up.
my keyboard.
Oh, it's in your keyboard. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm gonna have to like take the keycaps off and scrub now.
We can throw the whole thing in a dishwasher, according to the internet.
Pass.
Has anyone here thrown their keyboard into the dishwasher and have it survive? You're never late, Isis. We're just beginning our morning with Cameron spilling a drink all over his keyboard, which is a classic streamer. Oh, hey, Magnus2138 with a slightly creepy emo profile pic.
Yo, what? That's crazy.
I'm trying to figure out who you are. Oh, yes, and we have our favorite bot on Twitch as well, asking to join our Discord. But yeah, like I think like it's been a good week. I think ikigai is something that I've been thinking a lot about. But I don't call it that anymore. And the reason why is because I found out, I'm gonna just spoil the whole thing, that it is technically a Japanese concept, like the name in itself and some aspects of it, but that circle with the like 4 or 8 circles, don't remember a number, that is something that comes from a Spanish author who was describing something completely different, and it was all but mushed together by an American entrepreneur who was trying to turn it into a sellable concept. So
unsurprising.
We can start to dissect whether this whole thing was just sold to us as a capitalist dream, that you can do what you want and love what you do and blah blah blah, and also get paid for it.
Yeah, I mean it's super convenient for you to feel content in your day wage laborer position for capitalism.
Well, yeah, but I think it's also if you want to do your own. Like, actually, it's in a way, it's a bigger thing. Appeal to entrepreneurs, right? Like we at least have, try to make it work because we, have some degree of like movement that we can make in every front. So then we try to make everything overlap. And I feel like that's the dream that we were sold to some extent. But which, I think it's something good to like strive for. But I think the issue is that when we don't, we're not there yet or something like that, or like circumstances don't make it possible, then it's used as like, oh, you just didn't look for your ikigai hard enough, well, which I think is terrible, to make everything, everyone feel even worse. So yeah, we can talk about all that.
Yeah. So what does it mean to you? Like, what does the concept of ikigai mean to you?
Well, so I was trying to read up on the original, like closer to the original Japanese, like meaning of it. And one of my favorite YouTubers, Samurai Matcha, interviewed a bunch of like actual old people, which was very nice of him. Like in like, I want to say Okinawa or Hokkaido, one of these like places that are more like on the
Like
rural,
blue zone type
yeah, blue
places?
zone kind of people. Yeah, and he said that, well, to them, they feel like they're happiest when they have friends and they have like a little bit of social, like a social thing to look forward to every day.
Mm-hmm.
And like in terms of purpose, they feel like, yeah, like sure, my when I was working, I feel like my work was purposeful, but I didn't try to overlap all these things. Like that's not realistic for most people. So I thought it was really interesting that the emphasis is more on like the social connection piece, which I think to me is what I see as really common in blue zone areas. So the other big like blue zone area actually is Hong Kong, where I grew up.
Okay.
Yeah, which has a whole bunch of like old people who are relatively fit. And the thing is, like these old people have like friends that they go downstairs to hang out with,
Yeah.
and that's one of the reasons why they're so healthy and happy.
Do you think it makes sense for younger people to talk to old people about how to be happy?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel like, well, you and I have friends who are older, and so they'll be really mad that we just call them like old people, because I think the
The dinosaurs.
old people we hang out with don't perceive themselves as old, which
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think
because
is a
like
good sign.
realistically, we're old, right? You know,
Yes,
like
yes,
the range of 30s, like it's old to a big chunk of very online people.
yes. We're actually really old.
Yeah, I mean, we're
Decrepit
chopped,
even.
whatever. I just got a CPAP machine, so there you go.
Dad?
Yeah, we can
Oh,
talk
we can
about
talk
that,
about
but let's
that.
the old
Yeah.
people thing, like
Yeah.
the
So I feel like for me, like my meditation teachers are of the older generation as well.
mm,
Yeah, I think that it depends on what you ask, right? Don't ask them about their latest thoughts on LLMs, because you're gonna get some really weird answers. But if you're
sure.
asking them about like, what do you like, regret spending your time thinking about, or like, more about like long term like mental stuff, I think it's good, because then you know from experience. Of course, like you said, like if I were to share these kind of things with a younger person, I also know it falls on deaf ears, because it doesn't make sense until you've had the experience.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a class of experiences where the only way to impart the meaning of the experience is to go through it.
Hmm.
I also I just don't think a lot of people are that thoughtful and reflective. I think being old forces you to be more reflective because there's less things that you can distract yourself with, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're reflective. And so I actually don't really give a shit about what an old person says they regret in their life beyond the fact that like, hey, this is data that one person like experienced. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure, because it's often like if they regret something, it's reflective of their personal choices, and you're
Yeah.
probably not making the same ones anyway.
Like I guess an example would be a 80-year-old's perspective on work and career
Hmm.
is completely irrelevant to today's career. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's like
exactly.
it's the same type of energy of I apply the same weight to if they say, "Hey, you get a job by walking in and having a firm handshake." Like
Hmm.
if they say, "I regret focusing on my career so much," it's in the context of that type of career. So I don't know if that actually makes sense. Now, I do personally think that careerism at all costs is probably not the best way to live a life, but it's certainly
Hmm.
not the best way to live my life. But that's not because I think an old person had a good take on it.
I agree, but I think like maybe one general all-purpose like reflection
Yeah.
is worry less. Like,
I,
because I feel like every time I worried, it was never worth it. So as you know.
That's not true.
Even from last week, that was so not worth it. So
That's not
therefore,
true. There are times where you've worried that it's been worth it. Like you're on a remote hike and you're oh, this ground looks a little stable near this cliff. I think there's definitely been times where that was worth it. And then there's in your life versions of that too.
yeah, like real danger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like 90% of the time it's not. So, uh,
Yeah.
oh, Dirt Hippie has written an essay in the
Oh
chat.
yeah. Check that.
So I'm old. Well, I mean, we're all old in
Old
some
enough.
ways, for sure. I think that most opinions on how to achieve happiness is heavily filtered through experience, yes, and will be geared towards what makes you happy, and it's a moving target. Oh
Sure.
yeah, I've been thinking
That's
about my
healthy.
advice I give to kids. Oh, and welcome to the CPAP army.
Yeah. The obviously I've been doing a lot of reflecting
Mhm,
on, how to pass things on to my son.
mhm.
He's turning 5 months old here in like a week or two.
Yes, perfect time for lectures and how to live your
Yeah.
life.
I mean, I still got time to go through that. But like anything, it's hard because general lessons I feel like don't map, but also specific lessons don't really map.
Mhm.
And so the things that I'm trying to, or I'm thinking I want to try to instill are going to be kind of energies to approach the day with. Not like a, hey, worry less, but a, hey, let me show you how much fun learning is.
Aw, yeah, that's great.
Because like that isn't something that you really, I don't know, like a lot of advice is lecture based when I think
Mhm.
best life, like a lot of important life things are learning by doing activities.
Yes.
And so
Right.
you somatically feel the difference between scrolling on your phone for 3 hours and going on a walk.
Mhm.
You can say it all you want, but until you do it enough times that you notice the pattern within yourself, it's really hard to change behavior.
I like that, leading by vibe first. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like generally with younger people, I try not to give advice at all unless very, very solicited and just ask more questions. But that probably applies to everything.
Wait, say more about that.
Like, cause I remember when we were young, like, didn't you hate it when like a random, like slightly older person would start dispensing advice that you know is well-meaning, but like it just doesn't feel very actionable, and then yeah, you question whether they have the same circumstances and all of that. Whereas I feel like if they ask me questions and to encourage me to reflect on my choices, that would have been way more effective.
So I think I have a little bit of a different experience with that because I don't know if this is a meme or is maybe more narrower, but there's this there's this universal experience I think with boys and young men where you come across kind of an old head type guy.
Mhm.
And, sometimes it's like an older brother or like an older cousin or, the older dude that is in your neighborhood,
Mhm.
and sometimes it's like, what feels like a grandpa, but was probably like a 35-year-old man.
Mhm.
And like that guy will have a nugget that really makes you think about being young.
Mhm.
Like I'll try to think of an example of that, but I can think of like multiple men that I was growing up with. We talked about my ex girlfriend's dad when I was in high school, the bodybuilder.
Oh yeah, the
Like
bodybuilder.
he, to what you're saying, he didn't try to change my like how I was living my life,
Mhm.
but the act of seeing him as like a partial example of somewhat what I want to be in the future by
Mhm.
its nature made me very receptive to how he was approaching his life.
Mhm. Agree. And then Sam noted that they love old people. They understand them well, except my parents. LOL.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Well,
that's a phenomenon, right? It's always like your own, like yeah, because parents really want to look after you sometimes, and then they really want to lecture, which is also not a good way of dispensing information. Whereas old people that you know from other areas, I feel like for me it's more like friends, and therefore it's just a lot easier to communicate with them.
you know what the difference I think is?
Mhm.
I think there's a sense of entitlement with your blood relationships sometimes.
Oh, okay.
That you deserve to be listened to. And sometimes that's true. Like sometimes like there's a
Especially in Asian
mismatch.
culture, you don't even have a choice.
Yeah. But like there's a mismatch sometimes between the content of what people are saying and the position from which they're saying it. And like that dissonance is where it gets really hard. And
Right,
so
right.
like you feel like, especially if you've raised somebody for a long time, you feel like I deserve to be listened to here. And sometimes you anchor on that more than, hey, is what I have to say really relevant in this situation or in the context of this person or the world as it is?
For sure. But yeah, like tell me more about the CPAP.
So I,
Oh, you were doing a sleep study thing. I remember now. And then that was also like a pain in the butt to schedule. And then
yeah, so ultimately, I'm glad that I have it now. I think it's going to make my life better. I'm very confident it's
oh,
going to make
but
my life
before
better.
that, you did like a diagnostic of some kind that determined that you snore, or was it kind of like you look like you snore, therefore
No,
you're
I
eligible?
snore. Like, I my wife could be in a different room and she'll be like, "Hey, you snored last night."
Oh.
It's bad. And so that's always kind of been a thing. In the past 5 years or so, the quality of my sleep has gone down such that I can get 8 hours and not feel very rested. I don't, technically, I have a high BMI, but it's like,
We all do. That is a very bad measure.
well, I mean, I only say it because on my prescription it says obese, which is not true, but
Oh.
but the nature of the scale implies that if you lift a lot, you're obese. The but so the whole thing's kind of a scam, really. So what you're supposed to do in the US is you're supposed to go through your insurance, go to your GP, get referred to I think it's like a neuro person or like a sleep specific person.
Yeah.
Schedule a sleep study, do the sleep study, and this whole thing can take like 6+ months. And you're paying for all of these appointments the whole time, and your monthly premiums and all that crap. And so I was like, oh, I need sleep now. I've been putting this off for a long time, so let me just go like see what the modern routes are. And so there's this whole shadow system of companies that will do at-home sleep tests, which are, you can do those through like your normal health insurance. But the idea is those companies won't interface with your insurance because it's kind of a regulatory burden for them to figure out how to do that. And while they can prescribe you this thing, they're not going to work through your insurance. So you have to get reimbursed if you want to get that stuff like partially paid for. So I'm like, me, I'm impatient. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to roll and I'll figure it out on the back end. And so I do it. I get the sleep study, fun, put a little monitor on my chest, have one on my finger.
Yeah, I've done it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But mine had an inconclusive result, so mine was not as fun.
It said I had mild sleep apnea. If I'm being honest, I think this company just lets everybody get the prescription,
Oh, I mean, that's good when it's in the consumer's favor.
Yeah. I mean, sleep apnea is kind of like contact lens prescription renewals, is kind of like hearing aid, like prescriptions. Like, I personally think you should be able to buy a hearing aid without a prescription. I think you can now, but you couldn't for a long time in the US.
Yeah, there are some commercial ones, not sponsored, but like Eargo is one that is like closer to a commercial grade without having a prescription.
Yeah, and I get that like a prescription helps you dial it in better, and then there's always a risk of potentially, hurting yourself with it. But I mean, if you could buy a gun, I should be able to renew my contact prescription without having to go to the doctor if I still see the same.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of my vibe with the CPAP thing too. And so this kind of feels a little bit like hey, if you got the sleep study, we'll get you the prescription so you can buy the expensive CPAP machine from us if you want. And so, that's what I did. Chat, I did buy ResMed.
Oh.
I can't recommend it yet because I've only been using it a couple nights. I didn't really research how it works. It shoves air into your face.
Yes.
And so that
you have
takes
an
a little bit.
aquarium and you have a pump. You're
What?
being pumped. It's like you're in an aquarium and you're being pumped
Yeah,
full
except
of
it's like
air, right?
in your nose. And
Yeah.
so
And it's different attachments for the nose part, I think.
yeah, you can get it like in your nose or on a full face
Yeah. Do
mask.
you want to go full Bane? Or do you want
I mean, I I understand it. I'm still getting used to the nose mask, but like I've worn, chemical warfare gear in the army and it's
All
much more
right.
comfortable than that. So it's not
Mhm.
the worst thing in the world.
Does it make like a gush sound when you're sleeping though?
Yeah, it does make you kind of feel like you're Darth Vader and which is cool. I
Does
like
Marco
it
find
cuz
that an improvement of sound over you snoring?
well so you don't snore with it cuz it's like
Yeah,
keeping
yeah.
the
But so
pressure
you're
equilibrium.
replacing this snoring sound with the machine pumping noise, and is that like more of a white noise?
Well, I mean, I don't notice me snoring cuz I'm asleep.
Yeah, yeah. I'm asking for other people's.
Oh, I don't know. It's too early to tell.
Uh,
But it like also because there's an outflow, and so the outflow of the air, kind of diffuses, and so you do have like a little air conditioner on your face, which is nice.
oh.
At least for me, because I'm a hot, sweaty man, and
Mm-hmm.
so if you open your mouth while it's on your nose, there's a pressure differential, and it just like out your mouth.
Oh.
Yeah, and so that's taking a little getting used to.
Do you
But
tape your mouth?
I don't want to do that as I'm getting used to the base device.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I don't think they recommend taping your mouth. They sell like chin strap helmet things.
Oh,
But again, I hope I don't have to do that, and I think I won't have to.
okay.
But it's weird because I do think like I'm not sleeping through the night with it yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think the quality of the sleep that I'm getting with it is probably a little bit better, at least at this stage. But
Oh.
so I'll sleep for 3 hours and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll wake up with this giant spider eating my face and I'll
Mm-hmm.
go, you know, but but ultimately I think it's going to work out.
Okay, cool. And Darby says it actually isn't loud anymore. Oh, thanks for your correction. I didn't
Yeah,
know that they make them quiet.
like while I'm awake and falling asleep, it does feel like an air filter type thing. It's not that crazy.
Oh, okay. Then maybe even I would consider it. I always thought it was like, yeah, still making the gushy gushy noises. So, well, I hope that it works out for you in sleep quality. I've been having some sleep issues in the past few weeks as well. Like, just doing a lot and like being afraid, like a little afraid of waking up late, I think is what's causing it. But I did some, this is going to be so weird. I did some sage smudging with the room in
Can you
case
explain
there
what
is
that
a
is?
spirit disturbing my sleep. Um, it's one of those like things that you can burn, like super hippy dippy thing that you can do. Like it makes you smell like one of those super hippy dippy shops. But yeah, the reason why is because like Yuhan also hasn't been sleeping well. And well, I suspect what's happening is that like I'm sure there's some like pheromone we're both secreting when we're sleeping when we're not sleeping well, so we're actually actively affecting each other's sleep like at the
Okay.
same time. But then that also made me suspect that there is some external
good.
environmental cause that we're both subjected to. So let's like make sure of that as well.
Is it more chemical or spiritual for you?
Um, I feel like it must be both, right? Like I know that it's because I'm pushing stress down into the subconscious. But I also like feel like the coincidence of also suddenly not sleeping well in a very similar like waking up in the middle of the morning kind of way, which normally doesn't happen to us.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to make sure of that in the spiritual realm too, just in case. Oh, and hi Sean from Tairu Shakuhachi, which is one of my other YouTube channels that I like to watch. He's
Let's
really good at
go. What's up,
playing
Sean?
the Japanese flute, and I suspect that's what drawn him to this spot today because of the ikigai. But yeah, like I feel like right now we're covering the sleep portion of
Yeah,
like
I mean, okay, so back to this ikigai,
Mhm.
branding.
Mhm.
I kind of use it hand in hand with the idea of balance.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like fair?
That seems better because I feel like Johan said ikigai was invented by Big Venn diagram. I don't
Yeah, I
think
can see that.
mathematical functions have lobbies.
Yeah.
But does Venn diagram imply balance or does it imply like the same thing in the overlap? This is getting into the
So there
autism
are Venn
territory.
diagrams that adjust based on the quantity in there, so they can. Is what I would argue.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen this is a version of, the most famous, there's multiple, I guess, quadrant, because it is 4, even though it's in a diamond shaped right now.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
And it's supposed to be this balance between, what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. And it briefs really well. Like, that sounds like something that you would want to be true. And clearly there are some people that believe that this is a state that they can exist in or achieve. But have you ever felt this yourself?
I'm gonna pull it up again. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
sure.
too small. Well, essentially, I feel like I've achieved all of it except the money, the money overlap. That one's always super tricky to get it with everything. But what I don't love about this diagram, how do I make it full screen like you did?
A spotlight right here.
Oh, okay. What I don't love is that it's pointing out those little like triangle slivers as like, yeah, these fulfill 2 of them, but it doesn't fulfill 1 of them, therefore it sucks. Like, that's the part I have a problem with, because it's implying that like you're so close, but it's not exactly it. But you can't actually get there without having one of these like slivers. You know what I mean?
So, actually, I think I kind of do, but not fully.
Like, for example, here, like excitement and complacency, but sense of uncertainty.
Okay, so that's an overlap of love, needs, and getting paid.
Yeah. So, but you know what I mean? Why is it framed so negatively that you already got 3 out of 4?
I mean, what
Like,
if it
what's in the
was
bottom?
framed as you're doing the right thing, but it's the imposter syndrome creeping in?
Yeah, that's much better. You know what I mean? It's actually more. It's gonna get you closer to happiness if you point it out that way, rather than like, this is just not good enough, which is how I've seen most of these diagrams show the last.
Okay, so you still agree with the concept. It's just the messaging or the packaging of that concept that you disagree with often.
I agree that you probably want all of these needs fulfilled, but I don't think, like, I used to think that, like, as you know, I've tried to make the ikigai overlap happen, but
Yeah.
now I feel like you can't always make that happen because there's so many circumstances. You can try to have different like variations. Maybe 2 of them are overlap and 1 of them is not, or like something like that. Like, whatever that will make your life easier, rather than trying to make every single thing overlap, which I think is super hard.
So you shouldn't pursue it because it's hard, or because it's not a good thing to do?
I think that's like a trade-off of like, is this pursuit of ikigai causing yourself more suffering?
Yeah.
And therefore it's not a great trade-off.
Yeah, I mean, so to say that back to you, this as a set of guidelines by which you religiously live your life and make your decisions probably doesn't end up putting you in a place where you want to be.
Right.
But as like a reference of, these are some
like
things
it puts people into like a frozen state is what I've seen.
Say more about
where like they don't act because they cannot find a thing that fits all these quadrants.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Therefore, they they are in status quo and don't make a move because it seems like there's nothing they can think of that would fit all 4.
So is the ikigai a problem, or is their indecision a problem? Like, would they be better served with a different framework?
It creates this idealized goal that isn't always reachable. There's not enough like gradations.
Yeah,
a little bit too binary.
I hear that. For me, I mean, you know me, I don't think that there's an objective, this is the best way to live your life. And I don't think there's this mystical place where you are in tune with your purpose in the universe. Some people believe that, and it serves them, and that's great. But the fact that I don't think that is a real thing makes this, to me, it's like a stand-in for that, that almost gets to kind of like a cope place, where you're desperately trying to make all of these things contort into this model of the world that, like you said, might not like actually be possible, in your specific circumstances or maybe in general. And just because somebody like, it's more powerful to me that people have believed that they're in this state than the fact that then like the idea of this state in general. Does that make sense?
Actually, like say that last part again.
So this model isn't that interesting to me, but the fact that some people feel comfort because they believe they are living this model is interesting to me.
Oh, yeah. I think that's interesting too. Though I don't know anybody personally who's like, I am in my ikigai in that way.
I watched.
At least I haven't asked them explicitly.
I think I watched a sushi master
Oh.
YouTube video one time, and he framed his whole life in terms of that.
Well,
He was
yeah,
basically
yeah.
explaining this, and which I enjoyed. But like to extend it out a little bit more, if there is one person on planet Earth that truly believes they are living in the state of ikigai, and like the fact that they enjoy their life is kind of self-evident.
Yeah.
And then there's another person that lives according to a different model of a perfect life. Let's call it, like a Christian model of a perfect life. The fact that those two people are perfectly attuned to their model of a perfect life means that there are many models of perfect lives out there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, if Tyru is still here, or Sean is still here, like you're maybe an example, right? You're like a fairly successful YouTuber. Like you're doing your love of the shakuhachi, which is a Japanese flute, in case people don't know. And you have a thriving Discord community. You teach people on this specialized art. Like technically, I feel like you're very close to ikigai. So let us know if that is not the reality.
Like as an outsider, that's what it appears to be the case.
Exactly. You have the content creator dream achieved. So. Oh, okay. So he says, I think that this idea of ikigai has been way overstated. As long as you've got it life, you've got to keep living. So I just work and go on living. And does that give you a reason to live? Oh, even it gives a source.
Yeah.
Kuroshio, 1902 to 1905, Tokutomi Roka, Volume 1. This also fits with some of our debate on whether evergreen literature is really all we need in our lives.
Yeah, or like the literature, the Lindy. That's what I was looking for. Like Lindy literature.
Exactly. Oh, and then Joseph says, I'm in the middle of a Christian indigenous ikigai. Please tell us more about what those circles involve. That's super interesting.
Yep. Because kind of like the version of what we see propagated a lot on like social platforms is this idea of, I don't know, I've been calling it toxic ikigai. I mentioned that last week, where it's like you're doing this thing because it feels like the right thing, and so you're trying to force it into this shape of ikigai where it might be better served by being like 70% of your sense of self-worth instead of 100% of your sense of self-worth. Like I can think of plenty of reasons for being that don't involve the exchange of money for goods and services.
Yeah, well, which I think that's the original danger of the ikigai, is that it puts a lot, like it puts a 25% emphasis on finding something that overlaps with money.
Wait, say that again?
Oh, you're saying that it doesn't have to, like, whatever you're passionate about doesn't have to overlap with money, right? Essentially. Is that what you said? Yeah. Whereas I feel like a lot of my life stressors in my 20s has to do with trying, or like into my 30s too, has to do with trying to find this magical overlap. And I feel like so much more liberated now that I no longer force myself to do that, which took, years of conversations with you and like just a lot of life experiences.
Yeah. And, frankly, some cosmic luck to be in a position where you have some breathing room and you don't have to worry about surviving.
Yeah.
Like it's much easier to opine about these types of things when you aren't really worried about next month's rent.
Exactly, which requires a country or some sort of state where you have your basic needs met, and you're not going to end up in destitute if you don't make it that way. So, but yeah, I think that's what's interesting to me is that like a lot of European countries, they don't like they see work as work, and it's not even it's like super not cool to even ask people what they do for work, and it's a
Yeah,
very much more separated sort of life.
yeah, as an American who's been tech adjacent for a
Hmm.
while, Europeans will go on vacation for like
Hmm.
July, August, and September, and
Yeah.
I'll be working and trying to do something, and I just cannot get in contact with a
Oh.
person like I need to do European, which is like awesome. And I don't think work is inherently bad like some people
Mhm.
do.
Mhm.
And I don't think markets themselves are inherently bad either. I think that they are incentive structures that make people do things that the incentive structure incentivizes you to do. And a lot of those outcomes are pretty bad. And so the the issue for me is, do you have a choice to participate in a system like that?
Mhm.
And a
Mhm.
lot of the times you're in a position where you don't have that choice, so you
Mhm.
end up being at the mercy of this system that is incentivized to honestly kind of crush you.
For sure. But I feel like what's interesting is that like most of our friends in this chat, like I feel are closer than most people on this ikigai concept, right? Like most of them are working based on their passions and all of that.
Yeah. Sean's pointing out, like, and we definitely should call this out. The version of Ikigai that we showed
Mhm.
on the stream is like like a bastardization of the original concept.
Well, it's they're explaining something completely different. I don't want. I feel like individually, everyone is trying to say something. It's just that when you
Yeah.
are all mushing it all together into one concept, that's where it gets like very like pressurizing.
Yeah. I mean, I think what we're talking about is the colloquial understanding of
Mhm.
what a Western person would think of when you say the word Ikigai,
Mhm. Right,
which
and I think practically one of the issues, especially like I feel like the other three buckets, like you need time, right? To and then
yeah,
also like confidence that you can explore your interests and all of that. But then the money piece, what I'm realizing, if I could go back to my 20s and tell myself is that it requires a specific skill set for obtaining such a thing,
sure.
and that if you try to do both at the same time, it's tough because like the skill of quality and the skill of money are two separate things.
Very different. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like trying to do both at the same time and like, not dissing one because one sucks at the other one, like that kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
like mhm.
Sorry. Continue. I cut you off.
No, that was all I wanted to say
The
for now.
Yeah, the sales piece, like, I mean, I'm sure, it probably makes sense to go back to the core historical. Like, actually, can you talk about more of the core historical piece because you looked into it
Oh, I did
a little bit.
what I shared is the extent to which I have knowledge.
Got it. Then like so what do we do instead?
We make our own Venn diagram or other mathematical shapes.
What's your Venn diagram?
I haven't thought this through. We need to brainstorm live on air. Like, yeah, if you were to draw it. Okay, speaking of which, I think the creative super system that you're developing is a version of it,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And then so what so yours is more like a series of this is kind of like Fallout the game, right? So it's like a series of energy bars that you
Sure.
fill up and then you try to like not overfill one of them by turning one of them into an obsession.
Yeah, so I think
If it's a very certain mentality.
if I were, gun to my head, I wouldn't try to make a Venn diagram
Mhm.
because I don't think for me I need overarching like understanding of what I'm trying to do.
Mhm.
I think for a long time I really tried to make legible this grand arc of my life,
Mhm.
professional, personal, whatever.
Right.
And that's a self-soothing mechanism.
Mhm.
That's what humans do. Humans tell stories to understand things that they don't understand.
Mhm.
And sometimes that story is, you know, ri- logically rigorous,
Mm-hmm.
with scientific experiments to try to figure out what's reproducible and what's not. And other times it's pure myth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we self soothe about this thing that we don't understand. Like, why is the sun in the sky? And so for me, I realized I was doing a version of that in my life
Mm-hmm.
as a way to explain my behaviors to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to do it so hard that I wasn't experiencing the things I was experiencing. I was experiencing the story I was telling myself about the things I was experiencing.
Oh, so one layer removed.
Yeah. And so, which is my core defense mechanism, which is to intellectualize the things I'm experiencing so I'm removed from it.
Yes. So
And
it's
so,
very common.
yeah, like if you like brain stuff, you probably do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like for me, trying not to do live action explanations to myself about why I'm doing the things that I'm doing is part of it, and the other part of it is just giving myself some bowling lane, like what are the rails called?
Bumper
Rails?
rails?
Yeah,
That's my word of
I'm trying to give
2025.
myself bumper rails of I'm calm, I'm not under duress, I'm trying to
Uh-huh.
think about what I want my life to look like. And I truly believe how you spend your days is how you spend your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm putting up left and right limits on these are the things that I generally want to be doing in my day-to-day life. These are the constraints that I have in terms of like rent and food and healthcare. And I stay in those bounds and I like bounce across like back and forth between these guardrails.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, as I'm tumbling down this bowling lane metaphor that I'm torturing, I end up hitting the things that I want to hit. And that's writing, that's music to a degree, it's like my family. And the gory details of what I do in a particular day, it ebbs and flows how much that actually matters.
So I also remember your essay about taking care of your existential downsides
Yes.
first. So I feel like it's something like, what you're saying about the bumper rails. And then like before that, there was the existential downside coverage step.
Yep.
Yeah, I think our diagram is more like a multi-step process rather than a nice Venn diagram, but maybe that's more practical.
Yeah, I mean, not all models are useful for you at all points in your life.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so,
But I
like
think
for
it's
me,
also because we like luckily like through circumstances we both like have a calling, like you know what I mean, we're pretty
yeah,
clear on what we want to do with our lives. So that, and I don't think that's a given, like that we're very lucky in that I think our social circle also has like very clear directives of what we want to do with our lives. But so there's also like that like step zero of like figuring out what it is that you really want to do for the rest of your life, and then like also setting up these systems. You know what I mean? Like we kind of like jumped the gun there.
yeah, I mean, we didn't jump the gun because we've lived our lives and
Yeah.
found these things.
Yeah.
Like we weren't 10 years old, hey, I want to be a doctor, and then you just did that for the rest of your life. So
Right.
that is
We
not
did
giving.
all sorts of things.
That's like that is jumping the gun and not giving ourselves credit for some battle wounds.
Right.
Sean, I would not describe myself as a nihilist, although I do have some nihilist tendencies. I think the closest thing that I have to a
Mhm.
personal philosophy is some modification of like a Camus absurdist perspective,
Mhm.
where no, I don't think that there's an objective point, and the fact that there's no objective point to the universe means that you construct your own meaning with the decisions you make in your day and about your life. I think on some days I'll feel strongly enough to be like, the only thing that matters is to make the choice to rebel against the state of the universe that doesn't care about you, but not all days. And so it's more like, I think my big questions are mostly answered. I don't think there's a God. I don't think that there's like a cosmic force for good in the universe. I think it's mostly people that decide that they want to work together with other people to make the state of the world better for a
Mhm.
lot of reasons. But the biggest one being, hey, life's just better when you're not, shooting each other in the face all the time. And from there, I let the rest of the things unfold. Like, I love stories, as Kristen points out. Like, writing across various mediums is probably the closest thing to a red thread of my life that I have in terms of my purpose.
Beautifully said. I like how Sean calls it nihilism plus.
Yeah,
Came
nihilism
attention.
plus.
Yeah, but there's also that Sisyphus book that you told me to read that I still haven't read.
I mean,
That's about
the
like
myth of
absurdism.
Sisyphus.
Is that what's called?
What was that?
Like the Sisyphus book. Is it absurdism? Is that what's
Yeah,
called?
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like the character that he uses to frame the universe is the absurd man.
Mm-hmm.
And so the absurd person recognizes the fundamental dissonance at the core of reality, which is you can do everything in the world, but you're still dust at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think the distinction is a nihilist kind of goes, hey, nothing matters, so no choice you make ever matters. Camus takes that idea and extends it as the only choice that matters is you don't kill yourself.
His name is pronounced Camus. I've been saying Camus the entire time.
He's French, baby.
Oh, Til. Oh, okay. And I, as you know, I'm very like 99% the same. Like
Yep.
I just practice more of a Buddhist methodology, but fundamentally I feel the same way. So just the means of getting there, like
I know that this is like your operating model of the world.
Mm-hmm.
What is it about the trappings of Buddhism that appeals to you with that worldview?
This is where like I can't pinpoint a specific, even teaching or anything like that. I think it's more about the method.
Yeah.
Because I think the worldview part is actually the hardest, right? Because it's like, this is a bit of like a dilemma, because I feel like my view evolved as I practice more. Therefore, like no matter what I express about the view, it wouldn't really make sense without that context of practice, which is like, meditation and all those kind of things. So like, but however, like to my knowledge, the historical Buddha like did like pretty much agrees with what you said. I don't think he's like, no, there is no like big god or whatever. There are these little gods who do all sorts of random things, but that has nothing to do with you actually. And like, whether and a lot of your own actions are for your own doing. So I think it's actually much closer to the Camus sort of philosophy than our later interpretations of what the Buddha said.
Well, the big question that I have, because obviously I'm not nearly as well versed in the history.
And sorry to interrupt. And Sean, yes, I do mean Western Buddhism, not so much Eastern.
Actually, yeah, let's catch up on chat, and then I have a question. The ontologically, be interested in your worldview on that. Can you say more about that question? I don't think I understand, but it makes sense. Camus has biblical references because he was raised in the Western Christian, like he's raised in Europe, and spent some time just kind of like around the Mediterranean was his base of operation. So very influenced by that.
Yeah. And Christianity also has like fluxes, right? Because like the founding fathers' time believed in much more of a deist sort of Christian God who like made the world and like went away. So it seems like it fluctuates as to how much of God's involvement there is in the whole thing.
Yeah. My question with your personal version of Buddhism, we can move on if you want, is I always understood that enlightenment is kind of a shorthand for escaping the perpetual cycle.
Yes. Asterisk.
Yeah, and so like the asterisk it's a big asterisk.
Right. Asterisk. And this is the part that I debate a lot with my friend Buster as well, because his view is like there is nothing to escape from. Like if you take the word escape as the conventional view of the word escape, you're going to cause yourself more suffering because you're trying to get out of something. Right. Whereas I feel like as I practice, I also thought that escape means like actually escape, but I think you can also have observed me in the past year where I've interpreted that a lot less. I take it to mean there is nothing to escape from except for this urge to escape. Like it's a bit of a backwards thing, and that's why like Buddhism is so tricky, because I think a lot of things that we like are said, and it's a paradox. So if you
Yeah, sure.
interpret it in a conventional way, it actually is the opposite of way of how one should interpret it.
Yeah.
So in
So
that sense, I'm much more of like a, yeah, like there is nothing to escape from. You make of your situation, but what you should escape from is this wish to change in these struggly kind of ways, and like seeing the one as the as well as a vessel of experience, rather than like this whole like grooming of experience thing that I used to do a lot. You know what I mean?
I, at the risk of pissing off billions of people,
Hmm.
that honestly kind of sounds a lot like stoicism to me.
Yeah, and that's okay, because all these like other like philosophies that like there was actually a Greco kind of Buddhism, like the
Yeah.
statue of the Buddha being law, like with the funny like pointy thing. That's a Greek thing. So they were all like just hanging out at the same time anyway.
Yeah, true.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's interesting because like I fully agree that a literal escape mentality is
Hmm.
not aligned with absurdism.
Hmm.
I also think an idea of perpetual cyclicality is like technically misaligned,
Hmm.
because one of the important parts of let's call it absurdism, I'm sure someone will critique that in the comments, but like there was nothing before, you have your 80 plus years, whatever, if you're lucky, and then
Hmm.
there's nothing after.
Hmm.
And the fact that there is not another go round of the wheel is part of the thing that makes the act of he calls not killing yourself
Hmm.
the act of rebellion, essentially.
Hmm.
Because if there's no point to living, there's no reason not to kill yourself, because it doesn't make a difference either way. He really emphasizes this idea of not committing suicide as like a fundamental rebellion, like a continuous rebellion against the default state of the universe. And that's like the thing that gives it meaning.
Hmm.
And so is the cyclicality part really
Yeah,
important?
that's super debated. And then
Yeah.
again, like it depends on the teachers. Like some people believe in like a literal kind of rebirth, like where there is some continuous thing that's being passed on. I'm of the lineage that takes a little bit more lightly. Like I don't think Kristen continues on to a different like Kristen
Sure.
in the next life. However, it's because there is no Kristen in the first place. Or the identification of me with me is already a false view. Therefore, there is nothing to identify with next anyway.
Got
But
it.
it's like we're all like contributing to some physical, like physics sort of energetic movement. And like that gets passed on.
Got it. So you do
Therefore, it's
feel
this
fundamentally
non-personal
connected.
thing that's passed on.
But so that means you do feel like connected.
Yeah, but like in a very abstract, much more zoomed out kind of way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Like,
It's sort
would
of
it
like,
be
yeah, if I do something now, there's some butterfly effect of affecting someone else down the road. In that sense, it's like there is the rebirth.
yeah.
Yeah. But again, like that's there's such a wide range in how different teachers take it.
Yeah, for sure. And ultimately, I don't know. I like it's fun and I like having this conversation.
Hmm.
But to me it's all window dressing that you decide whether it's important to you or not.
Right, like the moment to moment, the intentions are way more important. And I like how Sam said, "I'll be a beautiful mushroom in the next life." Yes, because my body would decompose, and I would literally turn possibly into some fungus.
It would be cool to be a mycelium.
Yeah, I think so too.
Horrifying, but cool.
Maybe we were like the little carbon particles were part of the of some mushroom or something.
I think it'd be cool to be a T-Rex claw.
Like while it's alive,
Yeah.
or like as a fossil.
Well, I mean, both. Because if you're a one, you become the other, hopefully. I don't even know hopefully is the right word. But, like,
This reminding me of that old meme of the thinking T-Rex.
a velociraptor.
A velocirapter. I like how I
Showing our
completely
age on the
butchered
screen, I
the
see.
meme. Wrong dinosaur, wrong meme.
Just a couple internet dinosaurs here. Actually, I take that back. I don't want to be a fossil because
Uh-huh.
then we might end up in some billionaire's collection that nobody can see.
Yeah, I know, right? We don't want to be trapped in any object.
Yeah. Sean hitting up Ecclesiastes. I've been doing some digging on Ecclesiastes recently. Have you ever read that book of the Bible?
A long time ago when I was trying to read the whole book, so retention rate was really low.
It, so I did a run through of the Bible when I was a young angry atheist because I wanted to be ideologically like consistent.
This is like the stereotype, right? That atheists have read the Bible more than Christians.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, 17, 18 years at this point, so I haven't, or however many years. So I don't have it like locked down like I did as like an argument ready teenager on the internet. But but reviewing them after having lived, decades plus of being an adult is an interesting journey. It's also pretty infuriating in the context of performative Christianity, but but it's all like,
what's in that book that stood out to you?
I mean, it's pretty famously, it's where a lot of little quippy phrases from the Bible came from. It's like everything is meaningless book.
Oh,
like here, let me pull
well, clearly as a child, I did not understand that philosophy.
Like if I remember correctly, I think it's the one that's written by King Solomon, who's the rich wise king. It opens with meaningless, says the teacher, utterly meaningless. Everything is meaningless, and then it just kind of goes from there.
Wow. Well, maybe we should promote that book more.
Yeah, Sean's got the big quip. There's nothing new under the sun.
Wow.
And so, like, obviously that's interpreted in a bunch of different ways by a bunch of different biblical teachers and like sects, etc. But I find the more you look into the history of arguments about religious texts, the less seriously I take any modern interpretations of anything.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, I mean, my very basic understanding of probably from the YouTube channel Esoterica is that there's lots of books of the Bible they're not in, or like they're apocryphal.
They just dropped.
And they're not. Yeah, they were just dropped.
Yeah.
And there was a much more of a woo-woo version of Jesus and Mary Magdalene that we're not reading, but you can access it. I guess it's called Gnosticism technically.
Yeah.
Yeah, which has to do with again, the story is much closer to the Buddhist mythology as well. Like there is this the god that we think is God is actually a false god who created a material world and is trapping you in it. That's a very classical Buddhist Mara story as well.
Have you read Hero with a Thousand Faces?
No.
So are you familiar with the book though?
I have heard of the book.
So it's it has its own issues, like given the context of the author and everything, but it's as thorough as I've come across of a collection of the various mythos and folklore across the world.
Oh.
And it's basically, the story circle, hero's journey, all that. I mean, Sean, some stuff has definitely been dropped. A lot of the stories, sorry, we're back to the Bible for a second.
Yeah.
Some stories from the Bible have been dropped. A lot of them were oral histories that were passed down and eventually put down. And so dropped being synonymous with lost to time, synonymous being with it's convenient to leave them out depending on who's in charge at the time.
Right, which not to diss Christianity or something, because this also happened with the Buddhist texts. There are these councils that happen, and then a bunch of people would decide what's included and what's not included, and through the act of editing, that causes certain things to be passed down and for certain things to be lost. Yeah. So in that broad sense is what we mean.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, dude.
Yeah.
It is unreasonable to expect any religion to have good record keeping over thousands of years.
Yeah, they should use GitHub.
But the Hero with a Thousand Faces version of it is really interesting in that it's kind of a big, long book arguing that all stories are the same story. And, we as humanity have a couple different models through which we, like I was talking at the beginning of the episode, tell the stories of our existence and the whys and what what is reality and why. And so it's like fascinating to me to see a story that you've seen the shape of 100 times and then find an early record of that. Right? A Native American like myth being reflective of like a Southeast Asian myth, and both of them having effectively the same story with like the details changed, and then essentially in the same way that there's parallel scientific discovery, there's like parallel narrative discovery in the history of humanity, which
Maybe
is
we can talk
fascinating.
more about that, like shapes of stories, because in a much more modern spin, I think Kurt Vonnegut also tried to draw, right? These are all the archetypes of stories, and there's that Robert McKee book as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So we can
Kurt,
explore that in the context of these mythological truths. And yeah, Sean, I don't know if he's still here, but I feel like this is where our Discord comes in, where we can have much more detailed conversations with citations about historical origins of text and other such things, which transmit a lot better over text. Because one thing we've noticed is that when we're yapping on stream, we cannot go into all the details and technicalities.
yeah. I mean, this isn't an annotated peer-reviewed research paper. This is a conversation.
We can only describe the general shapes of stories. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining us today. I like how we've gone from ikigai to deep religious discussions.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Balance in the world, balance in your life.
All righty. Well,
Bye,
take care,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks for hanging out. Adios.